You know your setup is right when you walk out of the room and you stop in the doorway. You look back at it and you give the same look that you gave to the car when you park it somewhere. That little pause when you just know everything is correct. Now most setups never get there, not because the gear is bad, but because nobody tells you what actually gets you there. So I spent years testing more peripherals than any normal person should. Dozens of mice, monitor, desks, chairs, lights, audio, everything. And the stuff that actually makes the setup feel incredible, some of it's free. And we're gonna go through every single piece, but first a massive thanks to Opera GX for making this video happen. Now one thing I didn't expect to change how my setup feels is my browser. Sounds stupid, but you open your browser more than literally anything else on your PC. Now Opera GX just dropped also on Linux, so it's not just Windows anymore. It's got an ad blocker, a free VPN built in, not extension, not third-party apps. Ad blocker you flip on straight from the setting menu or easy setup on the toolbar. The VPN you turn it on in privacy and security settings, shows up right next to your address bar, and you can pick between Asia, America, Europe for free. The other thing is GX Mod. You go into the GX store and have like thousands of mods in there. Animated wallpapers, live wallpapers that react to what you're doing in the browser, light mode alternatives if dark mode isn't your thing, background music, keyboard typing sounds, sounds when you open and close the bars, custom splash screens when you launch the browser, and even a custom browser icon in your taskbar while it's running. You download whatever you want, mix and match different mods on top of each other, and if you want to toggle specific stuff on and off, there's a mods menu right on the sidebar where you control everything individually. And if you're coming from Chrome or whatever else, go to synchronization in settings, hit import, and it grabs your history, bookmarks, cookies in one click. And it works with every Chrome extension, so you don't lose anything. And you can download Opera GX right now with the first link in the description. Now the stuff most setup videos get wrong, the things that actually change how your setup feels, are usually not expensive, and half of them you can fix tonight. Look at your desk right now. How much stuff is sitting there that has no reason to be there? Random things that have been there for weeks, old cups, cables you don't even use anymore, clear all of that. Normal gear on a clean surface will always feel better than expensive gear buried in like some random stuff. And you think you stop noticing the clutter, but your brain didn't. It's processing all of that in the background, whether you're like mid-ranked or grinding through work on the same PC. So give everything a home. Headset, same spot every time, controller, same spot, because when you sit down and everything is exactly where you left it, you skip that whole ritual of adjusting and moving stuff around. That's the difference nobody talks about. Sitting down at your setup should feel like arriving somewhere, not like doing chores before the thing you actually wanted to do. Everything has a place, nothing moved, you're just in it the second you sit down. Same idea with cables, and I'm not talking about making it look like super pretty for the camera. I'm talking about your mouse cable catching on the desk edge mid-clutch, your HDMI pulling when you adjust the monitor, your headset cable wrapping around your chair when you lean back. That stuff breaks immersion every single time it happens. So basically route things so nothing is in your way. I build my desk with my dad, cables go behind the back panel, it's not clean back there but nothing is in my face. Nothing snags mid-game or when I'm editing. And that's all cable management needs to be. Now lighting, turn off your overhead light, one warm lamp somewhere in the room instead. Overhead throws glare on the monitor and makes everything looks flat and harsh. Every setup that looks and feels good in person has already figured this out. And while you're at it, the RGB cycling on everything, turn it off or pick just like one color. Same thing with your PC, open your case, that fan rattle you got used to, your brain didn't get used to it. It's still tracking it every single second whether you're mid-match or just browsing. So find it, clean it, fix it. Now all of that is free, and for most people it changes more than the last thing they actually spend money on. Next we have stuff that costs almost nothing that most people don't find out about until way too late. Now every what changed your setup the most thread on Reddit is full of the same answers. Boring things under $100 that someone changed how the whole desk feels. And first one, buy a slide behind your monitor. 15 to 30 bucks for an LED strip, and here is what it actually does. You play for 2-3 hours, eyes feel dry and heavy, you feel drained and you have no idea why. You blame the game or your sleep, it's neither. It's your screen blasting light into a dark room where your eyes constantly adjust between bright and dark, and that's why you're tired. So stick a light strip behind your monitor and that goes away. Second, get like a monitor arm. 30 to 50 bucks for one that holds any 27-inch screens. I push mine back when I game, I pull it forward when I edit, move it out of the way when I need desk space. Screen moves, I don't. And there's a reason why this shows up in every single wish I did this years ago post. After that, headset stand, velcro ties under desk cable tray. 10 to 20 bucks each. Not exciting to buy, but this is what makes a whole setup feel finished instead of just gear sitting on a desk. Now all of this together under 100 bucks, and it changes more than most single purchases over 500 did. Now the real money stuff, it's a shorter list than you think, and once you try and you with everything before feels broken. And first let's talk about monitors. If you have any decent GPU and you're still on some old 1080p 60Hz screen, this is the biggest single upgrade you can make. 60 to 144Hz changes everything. Smoother, faster, you see things in game you literally could not see before, and after all of this, there's OLED. Pixel response is so fast it kills the motion smur that refresh rate alone can fix. Everyone who switches says the same thing. Everything else looks wrong after. Next, mouse. I've tested over 40, shape is the only thing that matters every single time. Not weight, not sensor, not a brand. Wrong shape and you're fighting it every gunfight, right shape and you forget it's there. And to be honest, that's the goal with everything on a good setup, especially peripherals. Normally a mouse should not be even a discussion point unless something better appears tech-wise. And also go wireless, cable drags as resistant on every flick, every micro adjustment, so yeah. And if you deal with humidity or sweat, glass pads. Glove pads are done every 2 or 3 months in my conditions, for example. 1 week your flicks feel right, next week the pad is slower and everything is off. Glass, you just wipe it, same surface every day. Next, keyboard. If you play competitive CS or Valorant, anything where movement matters, just get like Holy Effect with rapid trigger. It's a real advantage for counter-strafing, and if you're not super into competitive, Keychron wireless, TKL layout and you're done. And don't go full size unless you actually need the numpad. You lose desk space for keys you never press. And talking about desks, that would be the next thing on my list. Changing my desk was by far the biggest change that I've done to how my setup feels overall. Before this I had like a really small desk where I couldn't even sit normally. I had like bad posture, terrible back pain, nothing made a difference until I actually built something that would check all the things I needed from a desk. Enough space, length, width, space for things to deposit. By far one of the most underrated and most important upgrades you can make. Now if you want something that can be super adjustable, get a desk from companies like Secret Lab, or do like I did myself and build it yourself from scratch for your own particular desires. It's often cheaper and a fun project to do. And what's not fun at all is the chair that you're sitting in right now. Now I talk about chairs a lot on this channel, and to be honest, at the end of the day it's always subjective and personal preferences. Just go down to a local retailer, sit in a bunch of chairs, pick the one that fits your body type, and that's all. Don't fall for marketing trends, hypes or crazy promises like it reduces back pain or shit like that. Also, if you sweat a lot, get like mesh. If you don't care, just get like leather and you're Gucci. But even with all of this dialed in, there's one more thing that decides if your setup ever actually feels done. So when is the setup actually done? No, not when it looks like something you saw on YouTube. I see this all the time happening. Someone rebuilds exactly what they saw in a video, same desk, same peripherals, same layout. It looks right, but it feels empty because they're sitting at someone else's desk in their own room. That never works. So make decision based on what you use, how you sit, what you play, what bothers you, and stuff like that. My desk, I built it with my dad. It's not on Pinterest, it's not going viral, but it's mine. And everything is on here because I decided it should be. And while we're here, stop wasting money on stuff that sounds good but does nothing. For example, like gaming laptops as a permanent desk setup with 3 monitors and a dock. Just at this point, just get like a PC. You're paying a lot more for worse performance. Productivity gadgets, desk timers, journals you never write in, stuff you buy to feel productive instead of actually doing something. And now every product also has like this AI integration. I've worked with companies spending hundreds of thousands a month on ads, and trust me on this one, new buzzword, higher price. And they hope nobody asks what it actually does. And 99% of the time, AI will do nothing. It is just more expensive and totally useless. Caring about how your setup feels is not overthinking it, because you spend more hours at this desk than almost anywhere else. And you'll know when it's right. You walk out of the room, you're about to close the door, and you stop for a second. You look back at it and you just smile for a bit. And that's when you know your setup is done. So what's the one thing on your setup that is purely yours? Drop it in the comments, and if you want to see more about gaming peripherals, check out the next videos.